We are live. Welcome once again. We're doing CK's MidReign. This is Midnight Lady, codename Project Midnight Sparkle. Going right now under the moniker of InebriArt because painting and artwork is fun, but doing it when you're a little inebriated can be more fun. So BYOB, bring your own beverage of choice. Mine is, I've run out of tea. Ban. Okay, if you watch Simply Neological, that was funny. If you don't, then that made no sense.
I'll drink for you.
You'll drink for me. Thank you. Thank you. My dinner is on the way, so hopefully I will have a drink soon. But Midnight is going to lead us through just kind of drinking, hanging out, and painting. Please follow along. I'm going to try to do so with whatever coloring utensils I can find in my thing here. And when we're done, we should have a beautiful piece of art. Dolan is trying very hard to distract me. So take it away, Midnight.
All right. So for this to be more of like a social hour as we're painting. If you would like to, everybody can undo your mutes, and you can also activate your videos because I would like to see what you guys are doing, you know, while we're working.
All right, then I'm gonna put mine not on focus, so one person's big, but on grid, I guess, so that everyone can see. I'll switch between the two as I feel up to it. So your materials listing said for paint, but I don't have paint.
Paint and or any medium you would like to utilize. Just realize that a broad head paintbrush can cover more ground than a pencil, so keep up. So we are going to have an entire piece completed in under an hour. I'm not going to tell you what you're painting. I will say it is very on point, but you will not even know what you are painting until the very end. And that is called perspective matters, because not as all as it seems until it's done.
Okay, so I'm totally going to cheat, and I'm going to make my mini.
Yes. Okay, so let's see. You're going to get your canvas. For those of you who have your materials ready, you will need your canvas. You will need brush, water, an assortment of paints, and something to properly lubricate your artistic desires.
Don't drink this.
No, but it'll have the same effect. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. For those of you who are following along with the paint tutorial, this is how it's going to work. When painting a fresh canvas, the canvas is dry, and girl, she is thirsty. So you just add a little bit of water to your canvas. If you have a small canvas, you can do it by brush. But if you have a larger canvas, like the one I'm using, I'm going to use a water spray. There we go. Now, when doing this to a canvas, you don't want it oversaturated, you don't want it soaking, you don't want it dripping. But a thirsty canvas will hold on to paint and not really like to let it spread. So you want to just moisten it, just ever so slightly.
Make it moist, girl. Moist.
Moist and
I took my fragrance spray and I sprayed my canvas. I don't think that really helped with the moisture, but I did it anyway.
There you go.
Because I'm trying to follow your tutorial. I did the tutorial with Don Diego a couple hours ago, where I made a bracer, and he kept referring to, you need a ruler and you need to measure and know how many inches. And I'm like, I'm the worst geometry teacher in the world. I do not have a ruler with me. So I was just making shit up as I went along.
So
that's what we're doing.
Your background color is any color you would like. I'm going to do a gradient of a color, and I'm going to explain how we do that. But this is where your own perspective comes into play. You're just going to put solid color down, or a gradient, or however you would like a basic, and I mean basic background to be. Choose your favorite color, lay it all the way down, and completely cover the canvas.
So I know that because you're using acrylic paints, go ahead and keep going. I'm going to talk. I know that because you're using acrylic paint, you can layer color on top of each other, and you're going to be able to see it.
Yes.
I'm not using paint, so I'm going to use a very light colored highlighter. This one's Mostly Dead. My favorite brand of highlighter, by the way.
I would say if you are following along doing pens, pencils, markers, crayons, just put a decorative border around the side and we might be done at the same time.
Then I'm going to use a darker color. And I'm going to put a protective layer under it. Who can finish their background first? Midnight, of course, because I made mine big. I have to go over it to make it even.
I'm already halfway done, girl.
I'm done.
Ah, cheater.
I mean, I just did a border, a solid color border. Okay, but you said decorative, so let me go ahead and try to make this a little more decorative. I'm gonna get I'm using an ultra fine point. Hi, that Starshine that joined us a little bit. Turned on her camera. Put your camera back on, girl.
Yeah, keep it on.
Hi, and unmute yourself, babe. You were muted. Still muted, love. Unmute yourself. We want to hear your beautiful voice.
I'm spilling paint on my brand new couch, so.
You can find it. You can find it.
Here we go. Coming back in.
Here you go.
Give me a couple more minutes and I should be done. Couple more minutes. Add a little bit of moisture.
Oh, look, she's following along. There she is. There she is. She picked a beautiful, it's like a goldenrod yellow.
Nice. Let me see. You're using an ochre or maybe an umber?
I don't know.
Oh, this is a big canvas. I wish I did a smaller one.
No, it needs to be big so we can see it, girl.
Yeah, so you guys can see, yeah.
Bigger is better. Wait, I'm sorry. Size doesn't matter. This one is definitely, I'm very glad that I put the age setting as not for children. Today's cast is not for kids. Not for kids.
Okay, I have my background completed. Those of you who are following along with paint, make sure you have a nice solid coverage, and lucky for y'all, we're gonna sit and let this dry. Acrylics dry like in about 5 minutes at the most. We just need the top layer to be dry so we can move on.
Hey, Midnight, I think you're playing some music on your computer. It's
Is that not
cutting and distorting. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I know it feels like you're going to be out of your zone. YouTubers complain all the time that they're not able to listen to music, but
yeah. And I searched forever to get like.
Okay, so she's using yellow ochre. Good eyes.
Yep. I clocked
she just held up the bottle.
So I did a combination of cerulean blue and some white throughout. So I got, I think about 12 different shades of blue going on here. So I'm just letting that kind of
I did
marinate and let it
highlighter.
dry.
I did highlighter, a line of highlighter, and then I took pen and just did little dashes.
Yeah, yes, you did it. So there
Because I
are.
do not have.
So Claudia, there are 2 steps that you will not be able to follow because it requires painting the sides of the canvas, but that's fine. We're gonna skip that part.
Okay, I'll just keep adding doodles to my border then. I'm gonna let mine dry.
It's doing the drying. It's doing the drying. Does anybody have any questions to ask about, let's say, the painting process? Or maybe who I am and how I got here? But I only speak about myself upon request.
Sorry about that. The laptop that is running all the sound and all the video keeps crashing. But it's good that it's the one that's crashing and not the one that's actually doing the live streaming. I didn't hear if any questions came in.
I didn't get any, and I'd rather be watching y'all than watching the chat. So if anything pops in the actual chat,
I will keep an eye on the actual chat for you.
Yes. So at this time, we're going to wash our brush, and it's one of the last times we are washing it. I'm not a wash your brush between each color kind of girl. But just in case,
Hi, welcome.
Just in case you use
I think
any
Moss
bit of
is the one
water.
who.
Oh, say that again?
Sorry. I think Moss is the one who joined us. Moss, this is a paint along. So if you are following along, he's doing paint and I don't have paint because I am an unprepared event goer. So I just grabbed my box of writing utensils and I cut out a square of paper and I'm trying to follow along with whatever it is Midnight is doing.
Oh, yes. And feel free to undo your camera. I would love to see you guys so we can connect.
Yeah, even if you're not painting, turn on your cameras, turn on your mics, and let's just hang out while Midnight paints and I flail.
Okay, so we are getting close to dry. I would say give it a couple more minutes.
So what do we talk about while we're drying?
So while it's drying, I have some really good news. From
What's
my
your good
mundane
news?
life, I'm an art teacher and I teach school-aged youth, so K through senior, K-12.
K-12.
Yep. And my kids just got selected to do a new mural in I think it's in November, and then in the same day I also booked a mural for myself through the city. So I will be painting a new mural during oh wait, scratch that. My mural is in November, the kids' mural is in the spring. So I'll have 2 murals coming up by spring of next year. So before spring war again, I will have 2 new murals under my belt. One of them is a personal for me, and the other is under my direction for my students.
Wow. And where can people go to see these murals?
San Antonio, Texas.
San Antonio, Texas. And I'm going to assume that you will at some point put either progress or finished pictures with an address listed.
Yes, I will actually be documenting the process along the way so we can put it on our YouTube channel for Sananto Cultural Arts, and that way we can show what we do for the city and the steps we take to get it done in. So I will post that, and you guys can go and watch and see how the process of painting a mural is different than the process of painting a canvas.
Awesome, awesome. For those just joining us on the Discord, Lady Project
PMS.
Midnight Sparkle, Lady PMS, has ruled this to be a social engagement class. So even if you are not following along and drawing or drinking with us, you are more than welcome to turn on your mics and or turn on your cameras and engage in conversation while the actual professional artist on camera actually does professional looking art while I flail with my school supplies.
I'm gonna.
And then we also have, I think it's Starshine from the Empire of Rivermore that is
Oh.
occasionally turning on her video. She's the one who has her background painted yellow ochre. She's
okay.
using paint. So I'm really excited.
I do have a
let's move on.
question.
Huh?
I have a question. If
Yes.
I come to San Antonio, do I get a personal tour of the mural?
You know what? Yes. Yes. I will
I
do
want
that.
that in writing. Make note.
Well, you know what? I have it better than in writing. I have him on video. It's streamed and saved to my YouTube channel. You asking the question, him saying yes, and I've confirmed that actually all the sound is working. So is that so embarrassing from yesterday that I had the sound muted?
So we do have some time constraints. I will be moving forward onto the next step. I am almost dry. I am at a semi-dry. We are almost at bone dry, but I can rub my hand across the canvas and I do not get any residue on my fingers. I am ready to move on. So we're going to go in with a little bit of black, actually a lot of bit of black and a little bit of white. I'm going for kind of like a dark charcoal-y gray.
I wonder if the United States Forest Service has any idea.
I think I'm going to follow with pencil.
That works. Charcoal-y. That graphite-ish. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we are going to divide our bottom section into thirds. So that's the first third over here. This is the second third. So on this third in this bottom corner, you are going to go about a third of the way up here, and then a third of the way here, and you are going to fill in this entire section with this blackish charcoal color.
Does it have to be like evenly smooth? Or
this is,
can it be kind of sloppy?
You can take whatever liberties you would like to take when doing it.
Okay.
I'd say fill it in more than that, but it doesn't have to be all professional.
Okay, got it. So more than that.
I have this filled in. So that is step number 1. Number 2, you're going to break the bottom into quarters. And you're going to start at right at that first quarter mark. And you're going to make a swoop. It's not a straight line. It's a swoopy line as it comes in. And then you're going to fill.
You're talking about what's left you're breaking into quarters and then doing that swoop?
Standing tall. Your rectangle. See how this is to the side. Now you have this rectangle right here. And then you have a swoop across the bottom coming towards the top, almost like you're creating a flat top mesa.
Last time I volunteered.
Okay, got it.
So the next part we're going to do, that's number 2. So number 3, you're going to split this rectangle in half. And you're going to put a mark right there, just so you know where the half is. And then you're going to come to the top, and you're going to, I'd say maybe about an inch from the top. For those of you who are doing a small one, I would say maybe, I don't know, about the width of your thumb. You're going to fill that whole section in. Charcoal-y, black, gray, it's up to you, as long as it's dark.
That's what she said.
Woo! Honey, she's a size queen.
How do we go from it being dark to it being a size? Don't answer that question, Midnight. No, stop. Stop. I have former students subscribe to this channel. Me dressed as an elf is embarrassing enough.
Yes. So while this kind of dries, we're going to take a little sip. Cheers to all of you artists sharing your creativity with me. Thank you so much. So the next
There's
little
not
part
much
we're going
tea
to
left.
do is we're almost kind of making like a tower. So this is kind of like the lobby and the first couple of floors. This is the high rise. Now we're going to do the penthouse. So the penthouse is going to be about
Was I not supposed to fill that in?
That's the next step.
I
So you just
filled it
pretend
in.
you're good. You're good. You're good. You're good.
Okay.
She was good, and my face did not sell it either. Okay, so we have the
Did
lobby.
you do the same thing, Starshine? Did you freak out?
So we have the lobby in the
It's
first
ordered
couple
to
of floors. We have the high rise going up, and then you have the penthouse. This should be the full length of the side is all dark solid color. We're all good to go? Yes, I like it. Now, we're going to do the next step. Claudia already beat us to it. You're gonna fill this in.
I'm an overachiever, and my canvas smells beautiful like roses.
Lucky. So, literally wrote. So now that we've gotten this part, we are moving on. The next number we have is okay. So see how we have this little step right here? This is where you got to be very careful with your placement, so you know if you mess this part up, it's gonna look a little wonky in the finished product. So make sure we get it placed right. I'm gonna turn it this way so you get a better view. You are going to go right here. I would say from where this branch comes, where this plateau comes out, you're gonna move maybe about the width of your brush, and then come up a little bit and draw that line right there. Now from here, you're gonna draw this line, and you're gonna kind of arc it down a little, but you're not going to reach the end of this slope. You're gonna keep a little bit of that space right there. See how like the
It's
slope
like a
goes further than
disembodied. It's like a stick man with no arms, no legs, and no head, but he's peeing while floating.
wow. Wow.
We need more wine.
Wow. We're gonna continue on. Holy moly. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna
Sorry.
take the top of this little line right here. We're gonna kind of give it a little bit of a roundness. Just a little bit of a flick. Let's see. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, hers looks good. Oh, camera angles.
Yeah. Unmute yourself, honey. She says she can.
She's trying. She's trying. She's on mobile. This is hard
Oh.
for the mobile.
Yeah. I apologize for those that are on the mobile. But we're going to continue to go on. If you have any questions, just type it in the chat real quick. Katrisa will get through there. Let me see. From this little curved over swoopy, we're gonna kind of draw this in. Can everybody see? Here, wait. Let me see if I can move this in. Yes. Oh, there you go. You can see my canvas better there.
Yes.
Yes, girl. Yeah, that works. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do is you're going to create like a little bit of a step right here. but it's not going to be solid block like that. You're going to want to feather this out. So I know it looks solid. I know it
Okay.
looks solid, but if you look closely, oh, there you go. You can kind of see it now. See how it's a touch feathered? Yep, I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to fill in this section. And we're going to fill in this section. Can anybody guess what we're painting yet?
No. It looks like a gun?
Put it this way. Whoever can guess what it is we are painting by the halfway point, I will send
We are at
this
the halfway
canvas.
point.
No, we are not. Time-wise, we are, but actual painting, no. We're going to move quicker through the painting. If you can figure, I'll tell you when the half point is. If anybody can guess what this painting is at the halfway point, I will send this whole canvas to you.
Woo! All right, I want to win. So I have more Midnight Art. I have one of his pieces right there.
Oh, dude, that was awesome. Okay, so the next piece that we have, we're going to go a little bit down. We're going to create kind of just a little bloop right there. Almost kind of like the lobe of a cactus. And then now we're going to grab this section right here and we're going to round it. And you're going to fill this space in, but you're going to feather it as it goes through. I need to lubricate the whistle.
This is really trippy to do in pencil because I'm like, the marks are weird.
Yeah, you're doing good. So Claudia, on this section right here, on like this little bush that's hanging kind of on the table, you want to make it a bit more solid in this area, and then have some feathering come out from the solid area. So don't think bird's nest, think stone with like moss growing off of it.
Stone with moss.
So the next part we're going to do is you're going to fill in this section right here.
I'll be right back and I will try to catch up as soon as I get back, but I got to jump off for just a moment.
Gotcha. So the next thing we're going to do is you're going to go kind of up into this corner right here, and you're going to draw two very close together parallel lines. And then you're going to draw a line across and a single line coming out the bottom. Should kind of look like, I would say, a tuning fork. A double-bladed sword? Yeah, something like that. Let's see. We're going to grab some more of this paint. Let me see. The next thing we do... Oh, we're going to fill in this section right here. Now you're going to take this section right here, and you're going to kind of like round it out a little bit without it flowing perfectly into this section right here. We want a little bit of a disconnect. So this is more rounded. Whoop. I am a horrible weather instructor. This part is more rounded right here, and then it has a little bit of a slope, and then straight, and then it kind of comes into this big step thing right here. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of our paint, And we're going to start, I would say, in the middle right here, and then kind of just wave it on up until you reach that thing and then pull it out to the side. The next step is you're going to fill that section in. Cool. We're at the halfway point. Does anybody know what this is? Anybody would like to take a guess? I'm going to move to the chat section. Can anybody guess? I don't think so. So we're going to move on from here. We are going to increase the amount of feathering in this area. And make it a big old bushy bush. We're going to add a little bit more extra bushiness up here. And we are going to move on to the coloring section. So you're going to get rid of your flat broad brush and you're going to go for a liner brush. So this is the section where we're going to dip into all the different colors that we have.
I'm back with dinner.
So Claudia, to catch you up,
I can see and I will, yes.
Yep. So all we did was fill in the whole thing, and then we added this little toony forky thingy with kind of a cloud, almost kind of like a spear getting ready to strike down from the cloud up above.
Yeah.
And fill it all in.
Got it.
So now we have moved to our liner brush. You're going to moisten the liner brush, and you're going to pick whatever colors you would like. I had requested that you guys got the full spectrum of colors. Please, this is the time for the rainbow to shine. No, this isn't of the homosexuals. This is just color of everything. The vibrancy of your aura is going to show right here. Choose your colors, choose them all. Don't have a set idea in your head because nobody has figured out what we're painting. So let's get it together. Oh, and Claudia, we have already passed the halfway point.
Oh, so now's the time to guess what this is?
Yes, if you could guess.
I don't think it's fair for me to guess because I talked to you about what this presentation was.
Yes,
and so I have an idea of what we're supposed to do with this. So I'm not going to guess because I don't think it would be fair of me to guess because I know something that.
So we were already past the halfway point since, and now you remember what it is now, right?
Yes.
Okay, so nobody guessed it, so now we're just going to move on until the end. So here we go. We're going to get some moisture on the brush, and you're going to want an excessive amount of moisture because you really want the paint to flow. You're going to start at this edge at different points, and you're just going to create some wisp. As it comes off in all different colors, okay. Remember, you want an excess of moisture mixed into your paint right now. Rule of thumb when it comes to acrylic painting, you never want to go above 30% water to paint because you can run the risk of underbinding your painting. Your painting will look good for the first couple months and it will discolor, crack, peel, and that's not nice. So you want to make sure that you have these wisps. Some can be, they can interchange together, they can intertwine, they can go all the way off the end. They can just go a little bit farther, but like make sure you give some good variation in where you place the colors and how many of them that you put and where you start them.
So a classic example of I'm impatient and did not wait to follow instructions. I put a little swirly swoop thing.
No, that's fine. That. Woo!
Don't know which way I'm supposed to move this thing. So now I'm following directions.
So now that I've put my first colors down there, I used green. I'm going to wash off this brush. I'm going to dip into the next color. Remember, an excess of water in your paint helps it flow smoother for when creating this kind of thing.
And I'm using highlighters, so I'm just kind of letting it cover itself, and it's doing what it wants to do.
Yes.
Court is in 20 minutes. We do have an update on court. We discovered yesterday at the tail end of Her Highness's presentation that when you do video streams on Discord, there's a 25-person limit. And as the 26th person tries to get into the channel, it locks them out and doesn't let them join, which is not good for court because there are over 50 awards going out, which means we're likely calling up more than 30 people. So, and we want them all to participate. So Her Majesty will be posting very soon a Google Meets link for us to go and join. You still want to use Discord to sign in so that you can get class credit for today. But we will be meeting in Google Meets. So that should be web browser. If you're on your phone, I'll post that link also here in Discord. It should let you. Yeah, if you click on it, it should go through. Sorry.
Let's move on to another color. So here's what we are going to do. You guys have now gotten to the point where I'm going to show you what we're really painting. Only for the sole reason that you need to know where to put your highlights. Put your painting upside down. Can anybody tell what this is a painting of?
It looks almost like a guy's like goatee face and his mouth is smiling. And he's about to blow out a candle.
Almost.
A cupcake.
So from here, what we're going to do is you're going to grab your white. Just some plain white. Yeah, good luck with that, Miss Pencil. You're going to for the
called erasers.
Erasers, yes. Add maybe some lines there for the mustache, some lines through here for the beard.
Oh my god, this looks frightening.
So this section right here, this is the interesting part because he's wearing a crown.
Why does it have a nose? Oh my god, it's hideous.
Whoa!
Oh my
So
god.
in this area, so now that we have this going on, this upper section right here, feel free to fill in with any yellow that you might have.
Son of a bitch.
You know, layering is a thing with these paintings.
You know what? I can.
Has anybody guessed what these little wisps are coming off? What they are? That is the backside of his hair blowing forward. Now you're going to grab these same colors and you're going to start from up here and you're just going to drag them through, joining them with the ones in front. I almost dropped my brush, and you can see that on video. Woo! I'm going to rewind to see that because I caught it midair.
I covered in the crown. I colored in the crown.
Yes, that works.
There's stickers.
Un stickers.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Hair. Let's see if I can cover the fact that this guy has no nose.
How did you miss the nose? That's nose.
I don't know. Like I had that same, it's right here, but it's like so tiny.
So fill it in, give it some more. Now that you know what it is, start filling in the areas that you know should be there.
Doesn't pencil over highlighter, doesn't.
Ding ding.
Oh, wait. Wait. Where did I put it? I had here. We were just. I will not let this defeat me.
Don't let it. Don't let
Do
it.
you want to see what I'm about to do before I do it?
No.
Everyone else who was on the stream saw it. You've got 15 minutes.
So go ahead and at this point fill in your sword. Add your little
Oh, it's a sword?
pseudo pommels to the crossguard, and add the actual pommel to the end, and you now have King Arthur with glorious, colorful locks, pondering about what to do about Excalibur stuck in the stone.
Very cool.
Let me see. I'm gonna fill in that crown. I mean, I said to fill it in, but I didn't do it.
Right. I'm gonna fix the sword because. Oh, I just made myself high.
What are you doing, girl?
So, here's my fill-in. Midnight.
Yes, dude, that looks awesome. Did you do it with nail polish? Before you even showed it, I knew it because you painted your nails earlier. Gee.
Awesome. Okay. Oh, this was way more fun than it should have been. And I wasn't even drunk. I am going to log
more of
out
an
here.
activity.
This is fun. I would love to see this when we get back to in person. This would be a very fun in person, but we'd have to do like the little small canvases, almost like a postcard kind of thing.
Yes. An 8x10 is perfect for this. Actually, this works better on a square canvas.
Yeah, my thing was almost completely square. All right, so thank you, InebriArt from San Antonio, aka Lady Project Midnight Sparkle, leading us through painting King Arthur, deliberating what the heck to do about this sword in the stone that is stuck there. All right, Starshine is getting on the stream, showing us what she made.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Look at that.
It's lovely.
Awesome. Not bad for following along in a rushed 45 minutes.
And
We're
not
not
knowing what
graded
the...
on it, are we?
Funny, the fact that you even tried, I love it. I love it. You know what? Here's what I want to do. You had the supplies and you were brave enough to go on camera and showing me. I'm going to award you a free virtual art class.
Thank you. Oh. You
So,
have me at the trip
Oh.
to Antonio.
Oh, that's lovely. I'll let you two get together at whatever time is convenient to sort out when that class is going to be. And I would love to see the finished product. And just keep in touch after this and after that art lesson. And I want to see how your art grows after Midnight's wonderful offer for a class.
yes. Cheers to you.
Cheers.
And cheers to everybody. Let your creativity blossom. Let your creativity grow. Don't paint inside the lines. Don't let anyone tell you that you cannot create art. Because the fact of just putting a banana taped to a wall is worthy of $20 million of art, you can create art. It's only your own style. It's whatever you feel. Even if you don't feel or think that you can paint or draw, just remember there are artists out there that get a canvas and throw a bucket of paint, and whichever way it splats and lands on, they sell it for thousands of dollars. So don't let anything stop you from creating art. There should be not one thing that should get in your way of creating art. I don't teach art classes, I teach creativity. And you had a fun experience painting this. Just keep going, keep doing things, keep creating art. Keep throwing buckets of paint at an empty wall and seeing what happens. Anything and everything is art. You are art.
Thank you so, so much. It was an absolute joy, absolute pleasure. I am going to cut the stream just a little shy of the hour, and I'm not trying to steal time away from you. We did everything we needed to do. The artwork is accomplished, but we have very short time to get court put together. And as I was talking about earlier, we're going to have to move the venue from Discord to a Google Meets. And so there's some background things that I've got to do to make all of that happen. Yep. And I've got very little time to do it, and I still need to eat.
I have a whole nother look I need to pull off for the next thing. So
you've got 10 minutes. Bye.
Oh,
wait, how does Christine do it? Thanks y'all for watching, and we'll see y'all later. Bye. Except this doesn't work for me because